Hi guys. Now, a lot of Malaysians like to say that we like to say bad things about ourselves. Our roads, they say it's dirty. They say when they go overseas, they say they're so clean. But look at it. Is it even dirty? No. Okay, someone's car broke down maybe. It's clean. Roads are smooth. And generally everybody is rather okay when it comes to driving, we are not as passive aggressive as some. What I want to say is I have driven in not a lot of countries, but I've driven in quite a few. I've driven in Malaysia, Thailand, of course, Singapore, Taiwan, London, France, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, a few, and we're not talking about countries here, we're talking about cities. Sorry that. And I think in my impression, the worst place to drive is London. Not so much the people, not so much other commuters. Most are, I've driven in Australia as well and New Zealand. Not so much the people in terms of drivers and all. Rather, everybody is alright, is fantastic. But it's really how the city really takes an anti-driving approach when it comes to the entire system. It is rather horrible. Hundreds of signs that you have to digest when you're driving, and that takes your attention away. You see cars stop before they turn a junction just to read through whether it's okay to turn in today or tomorrow is not okay. Yes, they have ridiculous systems like that. And then when it comes to parking, it is utterly horrible. See, in Malaysia, it's rather simple. Either you park and you don't pay, and then you get a fine, or at places where you want to pay, you have those booths that are solar powered, and you drop in your coins, and then tickets will come out. Now, a lot of you at this point will say, oh, all our machines are broken down, it's a piece of shit. Let me tell you this thing. In any big cities you go, public infrastructure maintenance is always a problem because a lot of people use it, right? So I don't think that is something that takes away what the system is. You see, the system was like that. They put up a lot of little ticketing machines, and yes, sometimes they don't work. Most of the time they do, and the proximity isn't very far. So if you go to one, it's broken down, you can walk to the next one. Sometimes it is also broken. But the good thing about Malaysia is we have we take in a lot of human factor. You see, if you go to that ticketing booth and then you found that is broken down, as you walk back to your car, a policeman wanted to give you a ticket, you just tell him that, oh, I went there and then the machine was spoiled. 99% of the time they won't ticket you. That's Malaysian style. Yes, we play by rules, but there is this beauty about us that there is a lot of human factor in it. Of course, I think a lot of other enforcers in other countries have that side as well, but probably not Singapore. I don't know. Singapore is really strict, and sometimes it takes away the human side of things. So why London is so frustrating to drive? Apart from those signs that I mentioned, there are road junctions that are more than 90 degrees. Yes, no cars will be able to make it in one turn. I kid you not. I've seen one junction whereby I was queuing up to turn there, Waze tells me to turn there, and I see every car does this. Every single car does that. because that junction is more than 90 degrees. And then parking. So what they do is, what I noticed, okay, I may be wrong, okay, they split up parcels, and those parcels are handled by different companies, and it's rather small. You can be on this side of the street, one company is handling it, you cross the street, another company is handling it, further down the street it may be another company handling the parking. So like I mentioned just now, in Malaysia or in small towns in UK like Hertfordshire or France for that matter, is rather easy to pay for your parking. But in London, okay, so what they do is this, you park your car, you sort of can see there's a lot number or something like that, and your job is to communicate to the other party that you have parked here with this registration plate, and then you intend to park from what time to what time, and then they charge your car. Sounds pretty straightforward until it comes down to luck, whether that particular parcel is handled by a company that uses a human operator or a machine automated operator. Now if it is a machine, you're dead, man. Because if it is a human, it's rather simple. You pick up the phone and he talks to you, and then you just tell him which lot you park at, and then this is your registration number. You read it out, you know, VGT64E or something like that, and then he verifies with you. You tell him your card number, you intend to park from what time to what time. Yes, this process is already unimaginably stupid, but you're lucky if he's a human. Alright? Then you tell him, and then he verifies the details, then he'll charge your card, and then your car can park there without you getting a ticket. Trust me, they ticket you relentlessly. If you're unlucky, then it's a machine. Please read your registration number. And then you start reading with your Malaysian accent, right? VGT blah 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 blah. And then the machine will repeat it, yes or no. They will repeat the entire thing, and then you go yes or no. Most likely it's a no. Then you say no, and then it will ask you to read again, and then you read again, and then yes, no, and then it will ask you to read again, and then the third time or the fourth time they will go into a mode whereby they go very detailed. What do? Fuck this stupid Volkswagen. Idiot. What do? They read out character by character. First character, V, yes or no, and then you say yes. Second character, yes or no. If they got it wrong for G, B, D, P, E, then you gotta start again. So in order to pay an £8 ticket, I remember I racked up a phone bill of 140 over ringgit just for that. And there is another one that gives you an option. You can go online to pay your ticket, which sounds fantastic, right? So I went online, I fill in my details, and then my card number, and then it asks for my phone number. It's pretty simple, right? Except that there is a prefix in front, and the prefix, you can only select England, Scotland, Ireland. That's it. What the fuck? So yeah, that was a horrible experience, driving in London, parking in London, but everything else is lovely. It's a lovely city if you do not drive. It is a horrible city if you do. Yeah. So yeah, I prefer driving in Malaysia or anywhere else than London. And a lot of you said, oh, Germany is fantastic, they have no speed limit. Nah, that is just a short stretch, and most likely it's full of cars. And yes, the Germans are very good in lane discipline, except once in a while an Italian will veer out of their lane. without signaling. Just like Malaysians. Yes, if you drive in Italy, you'll be like, ah, this is very Malaysian. Yeah. And I love Paris. Paris has tons of cars. A very is congested. It is horrible. You see huge roundabouts with cars going in like that, some going in straight, then they turn. It's just havoc. But there is a chaotic beauty to Paris, and the best part that I like is how they park their cars. So on the roadside they draw one huge box, and then you just slot your cars in. A lot of them, because it's flat, they don't pull their handbrakes. So in Paris, it is a place where you can hardly find cars that are free of scratches. All their cars are dirty, full of scratches, dents, bumps and all that. Why? Because it is commonly acceptable in Paris to push each other's cars, to slot yourself into the side parking. Yes. Unimaginable in Malaysia or Singapore. You know, you touch the car a bit, 50 ringgit. I don't care, you touch my car, so you have to pay me, even though there are no scratches. That's Malaysia for you. But in Paris, nobody's gonna give a damn. Alright? And another thing I like is you see rows of pubs, and then you'll be like, oh, where can I park my car and so that I can drink there? Malaysian style in Paris. You see cars drive on top of curbs, and then they just park it there. Some are like that, some are like that, some are like that. Either way, some two wheels up is fine. So that is commonly acceptable in Paris, and I love it. I love cities with a little bit of chaotic beauty, because it just feels better, you know, rather than everything robotized, you know. So yeah, I like driving in a lot of countries, and not really London. Singapore is alright. Singapore is okay, except you have a lot of passive aggressive people, you know. I hope Singaporeans can be a bit more like Scandinavian countries, instead of turning their faces all into looking like honkies. Because I don't know why honkies, they are just everyone just seems ready to retaliate, be it by talking or by whatever. There's just that huge passive aggressive feeling about it, and unfortunately I think this feeling is getting more and more for Singaporeans. Half my family is from Singapore. It wasn't like this back then, but now when I drive in Singapore, I always can feel that, yeah, passive aggressive aggression. A little bit, then they honk you, and then they're not very patient. Of course, there are the same kind of people in Malaysia as well. It's wrong for me to generalize it, but I kind of felt that Singaporeans should be nicer to each other, because most of the time they do it to each other. They don't look at each other, but they just passive aggressively try to squeeze their way in, you know. That is one thing that I noticed. But other than that, it's a fantastic city. Beautiful, no jams, flat roads. Everybody drives slow and nice and steady, and it's fantastic. Thailand is a wonderful place to drive. Yes, everybody heard of Bangkok's jam, but Thai people are so nice. They are very courteous. I'm serious. I noticed this when I first drove in Thailand 2 years ago in the Honda Civic launch. Everybody was nice. They slow down, let you pass and all that. Everybody is kind to each other. They smile, and it's fantastic. Yeah. So Malaysia is not bad, except just now there's one fucker, you know. Yeah, you get people like that. Yeah. Once in a while. Cheers.